Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's topic is all about the controversy surrounding sharing. I too am guilty of forcing my kids to share, and it doesn't work. Toddlers just don't share. They don't have the ability to share yet. In fact, until the age of 4 and 5, it's pointless to force your child to share. It only creates more resistance and frustration in the child, let alone you who is playing the referee. So I am going to share with you ways to get your kid not to share, but to be more generous in social situations. Let's start off by saying this. Stop telling your children that sharing is caring. If you are saying share a million times a day, chances are they really don't care, like at all. You're just wasting your breath. And sorry to tell you, you're frustrating yourself because you're forcing something to happen that truly just can't happen right now. Until about 4 to 5 years old, children struggle with sharing. At this age, children are in this egocentric state. And in this phase, it is all about them. I like to call it the me, mine, and I stage. Now, this stage is really difficult because they don't understand other people's perspective. They don't care about other people's feelings. And honestly, they're gonna grow into it. And so you just have to give them that time to figure it out. But I promise you, they will share. In fact, research shows that children's underdeveloped skills for counting impacts their ability to share things fairly. Forcing kids to share will create a scarcity mindset. That is something that you most definitely do not want. That is the worst thing ever, because the pushback that you're gonna get is more resistance. And as the child develops, now they have a mindset where they feel like they need to hold on to things because they were constantly forced to share things that were theirs. Let's say your child is playing with their cousin, a friend, or someone on the playground, and you interrupt that child because you see some interaction gone wrong. You are the adult, and in independent play and collaborative play with children, they are in a state of learning. They're learning their peers, they're learning the environment, things that they touch, see, feel, hear. They're taking all of that in. So when you, as the adult, step into a situation and force a child to share, you interrupt their learning process. When you do that, not only are you telling the child that you don't trust them to figure it out on their own, but again, you're also telling them to share, and they don't have that ability to do that yet. So be very mindful. I'll give you the perfect example. So we as a family took a trip back home to my hometown and saw some family. The kids all played together and were sweet and kind and running around, just having a great old time. As I'm talking to my sister, I hear my oldest and her cousin getting into back and forth about a toy that they both want to use. So we're talking, we kind of have one ear in our conversation and another ear in their conversation, or I guess argument, for lack of better words. And she said something to me as I was getting ready to step in. She said something to me that I already knew, but it just seemed so instinctual for me to go over and problem solve. She said, let them figure it out. And I found that to be really eye-opening, because we as adults, we don't realize how big of an impact we can have by just stepping into a situation where the kid could learn so much more by us not stepping in. Now, of course, if the situation were a safety issue where they started pushing each other or hitting and things like that, which is how most toddlers communicate, then of course, yes, step in. But if it is a small issue like sharing a toy, let the kid figure it out. And guess what? She did. She figured it out. She picked up another toy and played with that one. We have to allow our children to problem solve effectively. And sometimes that means not inserting yourself in the situation. When a situation does occur and children are fighting over a toy and you see things getting physical, you as the adult can step in and you can simply say, hey, let's play with this toy. Or hey, why don't you go grab this? Hey, want to read a book? It's a very quick and easy way for you to diffuse the situation by simply redirecting to another toy. Help your child communicate effectively in moments where you find it necessary to insert yourself in a situation. For example, your two children are fighting over a toy. You see things getting aggressive, you see things getting a little physical, so you go over to the situation and try to diffuse. In that moment, you want to be very clear to the child that being physical is not okay. You also want to help the child have a sense of independence and foster that. You say to the child, hey, I noticed you want that toy. Why don't you ask if you can have the toy after he's done playing with it? This gives the child the independence and the understanding that no, we cannot use physical aggression to get what we want, but we can use our words to communicate what we need and what we want. Now, your child may not have the language skills to say all of those words, but you, as the adult, can simply model that for your child. Eventually, your child is going to catch on, and they are going to use those very words when they do have the language skills to communicate their wants. Praise, 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 praise your child when they do share. This is a great skill. That means that they sort of understand. You want to share with that child how great it was to see them share with another person. If a child is sharing and you catch them sharing, praise them. Let them know, hey, I saw you share the fire truck with Ben, or I see that your sister really wanted that teddy bear and you shared with her. That's amazing. That will go a much longer way than you demanding that they share all day long. Trust me, I know firsthand, since the moment my daughter, my younger one, got home from the hospital, it was like I knew I was going to be playing referee like all day, every day. And it has been that way because I have used these same strategies with her and having a better understanding of why kids don't share and the developmental piece of it all. It has allowed me to understand her more. It has truly made a difference in our home. I'm not telling you this because that's what the research shows. No, I actually read the research. I've listened to many podcasts, and I found ways to deal with this because I was just so overwhelmed and so like frustrated with like the whole sharing piece. So again, praise your child, and I promise you it goes a really long way. The other day, I caught my youngest sharing a toy with her older sister, and it was the sweetest thing. She walked up to Ayla and just like handed her like, I don't even know what it was. It was like a wooden toy or something like that, but it was the cutest thing because she did it without like any interaction from me and no redirections about sharing or any of that. Like I said, I'm not forcing them to share. If there are things that they truly want to share, fine. So my very last point about sharing is simply model sharing for your children. Like, there is nothing better to do for your child than to model. We're in a time where kids don't do what you say. They do what you do. So if you're sharing and you're generous and they see that you're, happy and giving, and they see that you're a generous person overall and that you share things with other people that you care about or strangers out on the street, and to me that speaks volumes over forcing a kid to share a toy that really is there. The easiest way to do this is to simply start off small. It's very easy to do. You share on a daily basis as an adult and you don't even know you're sharing. I'm sharing this information with you guys. That's generosity. Kids need to see their parents in action. They need to see their parents doing what we're asking them to do. So it's little things like that that make a huge difference. Now, I'm not saying that, it has to be anything extravagant. Like I said, simple things, sharing food. If you have a snack, hey, do you want a piece? Or even asking. And then on the other side, when your child is eating something or playing with something, you can say to them, hey, can I have a bite of your granola bar? Or can I have some of your water? Like, we do this all the time. And for me, I subconsciously do it because I do want both of my girls to understand it is nice to share. You don't have to share everything, of course, but it's nice to share. So, okay, so the last part of this video, I just want to reiterate a couple of points and tie it all up to say there are so many reasons why your child may not be sharing. But what I do know, especially in my experience, we had our two daughters very close together in age. They're 15 months apart. And there have been many hand-me-downs from the oldest down to the youngest. And yes, of course, that older child is going to be territorial about certain toys because she doesn't understand that this toy that was once mine now is not age appropriate for me and can go to my sister. They don't understand things like that. Children, just think about it. They don't even understand. Their brains can't comprehend such complex ideas like that. So you really have to be mindful. And sometimes it may take getting the older child newer toys so that she doesn't feel like, hey, these are my toys and all of these toys I now have to share with you. So just sometimes it does, and I know it sucks because I literally did not want to buy a single toy after I had my second. I was like, no, what's the point of that? She has all of these toys. But seeing how frustrating it is and how difficult it is for Ayla to share her toys with her younger sister, there have been times where it was like a full-on physical altercation between the two of them over a toy that Ayla hadn't played with in months. But again, she was territorial about her toys, and ultimately, like, I can't be mad at her. So for Christmas, I definitely went all out for her and got her some very age-specific toys for her, and really kept in mind that, you know, these are her toys, and Alani doesn't understand, like, hey, these are Ayla's toys and these are your toys, but I found it to be very helpful to kind of split the toys in two different toy boxes. So Alani has her set of toys in a box, Ayla has her set of toys in a box, and then we have a box in the room for specifically, like, it's a community box where both of them could play with anything in that box. Now, do they understand the separation between the three? No. But when I see a specific toy that's being fought over, I'm like, you both can play with that toy. So just keep that in mind. For the older child especially, you just want to make sure that they have their own space and that you honor that. You know, if they truly don't want to share a specific toy and this other sibling is going crazy and is mad, falling out on the floor, then just let it be. But that's the way the cookie crumbles, unfortunately. And a lot of people won't agree with this, but I found that to be, especially in my experience, I found that to be helpful, and it diminished a lot of behaviors coming out of sharing toys. So you also want to just minimize the amount of toys that you have. If there are minimal toys, there's not much to fight over. And research also shows that kids only play with about 7 toys. So think about all the toys that are in that room or the playroom or wherever you keep your child's toys, and think about how many toys they're actually playing with. So you can really minimize all of that and save some space, and then decrease the amount of fighting, because 7 toys that are scattered around the house, what are we fighting over? So that is all I have to share in this video. I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you have any questions about any of the tips I shared, please comment down below and I will be sure to reply and send you a little bit of wisdom that I have with being a referee for 2 small people. But I will see you guys in my next video. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to my channel. I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.